Right. The first step to inductive Bible study is observation. Observation is just looking at what is happening, what's being said, and who's saying it, who's it being said to. There's basically five W's and an H. This is the general rule of thumb for how to ask the right questions. We ask the who, the what, the when, the where, why, and how. Five W's and an H. That's kind of a simple way of remembering it. So the first question we want to start asking is who? Who is writing the letter? Who is this letter to? Who is it? Who is involved in the letter? Who is it about? There's the who question. We ask all of these things, and it's always important to kind of look at this the author of the letter. It's he's going to have a certain aspect, and when you learn a little more about the who, it'll give you a little more insight into his style of writing and how he wrote it out. The what is happening, what is being addressed, what is he saying, what are the implications of what he's saying, and so you are, like once again, there's several more questions of what you can ask, and what is just we're just trying to figure out what is happening here, and when did this happen? When is this going to happen? When was it written? Um, and this is important to know these things, especially with the Bible, because you're going to know certain chronological events have happened during during the spans of the Bible. So if you'll ask that question, when, um, and also some things are prophetic, some things are present tense, some things are past tense. So the when is a very important thing. Notice when people did certain things and response. Maybe there was something said or done, and people, one of the words that I'll see a lot of times are immediately. They immediately responded. So that's crucial. I mean, there was no delay. There was no waiting till next week. It required an immediate response. And so this is important to seeing what this means. And where did this happen? Where was it written? Paul wrote some of his letters, if not most of them, from prison. So you can get a little bit of an insight as to maybe what was going on in Paul's mind whenever you see his joy that he expresses even though he's in prison. It shows a real profound sense of spiritual maturity. We can learn a lot from that. When, where does this apply to? Where was this being written to? Like, for instance, the letters to the Corinthians. The where would have been in Corinth. It was a church in Corinth that. So now you kind of have a sense. You can read more information, background to the Corinthians, what the conditions were, the atmosphere of Corinth, the culture and things. And each one of these places that are being addressed are very different. Like Romans were very, very different. Paul wrote a very profound letter to the Romans, and very, very rich in doctrine and whatnot. And then the why. Why was it written? Why did they say what they said? Why do we care? I guess is one question. Why are these things important? What is being addressed? Why is he addressing them? And so yeah, I mean, you'll some of your good study Bibles will actually give you kind of a background to the letter, why the letter was written, a little bit about the situation that was happening. And so it's good to research this information. And so yeah, number one tool is a good study Bible is a great place to start, because they will often answer this. They'll kind of have a preface there to the book and tell you a little bit about it. And the how. So how are they to do this? How was he doing this, the author? How did something happen? So ask these questions whenever you're reading it. One thing that I found was pretty neat in this is that you can apply this to any literature. and you'll gain way more out of reading any book that you read. It doesn't have to be just the Bible. You can apply it to any book. I'm doing this working with my daughters right now. My oldest is 7 years old, and so I'm working with her on just books that she gets from the library, because I'm trying to develop this sense of critical thinking that will help her later on in life. And that's really what this is. This is looking at it critically and really probing more for information and not just trying to read it for memorization. So that pretty much summarizes the first step, the observation, the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. 5 W's and H. And the next one we'll dive right on into interpretation.